Express News, a program where we bring you top 100 news of the day. I'm Tanvi Taneja. Let's begin. Prime Minister Narendra Modi received a telephonic call from Russian President Vladimir Putin on Monday, where President Putin shared his assessment of his meeting with the US President Donald Trump in Alaska last week. While thanking President Putin, Prime Minister underlined India's consistent position for a peaceful resolution of the conflict through dialogue and diplomacy. The two leaders touched upon a number of issues of bilateral cooperation with a view to further strengthen the special and privileged strategic partnership between India and Russia and agreed to remain in close touch. The lower house of Indian Parliament, or Lok Sabha, took up a special discussion on India's first astronaut aboard the International Space Station, the critical role of space program for Prasar Bharati by 2047. Union Minister Dr. Jitendra Singh said that the role of the Department of Space and Space Technology during Operation Sindoor, the technology that was adopted, has also happened in the last 10 years. Indian Ports Bill 2025 was passed in the upper house of Parliament. It will provide a forward-looking framework for integrated planning, efficient dispute resolution, digitalization and robust environmental safeguards. Commerce and Industry Minister Piyush Goyal moves the Jan Vishwas Amendment of Provisions Bill 2025 to the Select Committee in the lower house of Parliament. The bill will amend certain enactments for decriminalizing and rationalizing offences to further enhance trust-based governance for ease of living and doing business. Chinese Foreign Minister Wang Yi arrived in New Delhi on a two-day visit to India. Thereafter, External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar held a bilateral meeting with his Chinese counterpart in New Delhi. Welcoming Wang Yi and his delegation, the External Affairs Minister said that this occasion provides both sides the opportunity to meet and review bilateral ties and to exchange views on the global situation and review issues of mutual interest. Chinese Foreign Minister will also hold 24th round of Special Representatives talks on India-China boundary question with India's Special Representative NSA Ajit Dobal. Prime Minister Narendra Modi met C.P. Radhakrishnan in New Delhi on Monday. PM Modi conveyed his wishes to C.P. Radhakrishnan for the NDA's vice presidential nominee. A group of eminent tribal individuals from diverse backgrounds representing various states called on President Draupadi Murmu on Monday. They were at Rashtrapati Bhavan under the Adi Karma Yogi Abhiyan of the Ministry of Tribal Affairs. The Ministry of Railways on Monday announced a milestone in green energy innovation with the Banaras Locomotive Works in Varanasi commissioning India's first removable solar panel system installed between the railway tracks. The project will directly support Indian Railways' ambitious target of achieving net zero carbon emissions by 2030. The International Labour Organization ranked Pakistan among the worst in South Asia for wage disparities between men and women. The Arunachal Pradesh Legislative Assembly held a special session on Monday to mark the conclusion of the Golden Jubilee celebrations. The 45-day celebrations, which began in July, culminated with special sitting reflecting on the Assembly's 5 decades of legislative work and democratic evolution. According to the Ministry of Statistics, India's unemployment rate dropped to 5.2% in July 2025, down from 5.6% in June for individuals aged 15 years and above. On to business news now. Indian equity indices ended on a strong note on Monday. At close, the Sensex was up 676 points to close at 81,274. The Nifty at the National Stock Exchange added 246 points to close at 24,877. Indian rupee closed flat at 87 rupees 66 paise against the US dollar. Gold futures maturing on October 3rd were priced at 99,810 rupees per 10 grams on the multi-commodity exchange. Silver futures for September 5th maturity stood at 1,13,970 rupees per kilo on the MCX. Oil prices were held steady on Monday as traders awaited cues from a meeting between a US President and Ukrainian President as they attempt to come to a peace deal. So Brent crude stood at $65.87 a barrel, while US crude added 0.1% to $62.89 a barrel. Asian share markets surged on Monday, with Japan's Nikkei up 0.9% to a record high and Taiwan indices also at a peak. The US dollar stabilized on Monday at 97.85 against a currency basket as investors await a critical meeting between President Donald Trump and Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky, joined by European leaders. European shares were little changed on Monday. The Pan-European Stock 600 index was flat after logging a second straight weekly gain on Friday. Ukraine President Volodymyr Zelensky, who is in Washington, will hold talks with US President Donald Trump on Monday. In a social media post, the Ukrainian leader thanked President Trump for the invitation, saying that they share a strong desire to end the war quickly and reliably, and peace must be lasting. European leaders will also join the Ukrainian president for talks, including UK Prime Minister, French President, German Chancellor and NATO Secretary General. The leaders are hoping to reinforce Ukraine's position and ensure that any proposed peace deal does not undermine Kiev's sovereignty or long-term security. US President Donald Trump said on Sunday that the Ukrainian leader could choose to end the conflict with Russia almost immediately, but retaking Crimea or joining NATO are off the table. US Special Envoy Steve Witkoff said Trump and Putin had reached an unexpected understanding that the United States and European allies could extend NATO-style security guarantees to Ukraine. Massive crowds took to the streets across Israel on Sunday to urge the government to end the Gaza conflict and reach a ceasefire deal to secure the release of hostages held by Hamas. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu slammed the protesters, saying their actions not only harden Hamas's position and would only slow down the release of the hostages. South Korean President Lee Jae-myung has ordered his cabinet to prepare a partial step-by-step implementation of existing agreements with North Korea. Cambodia denied allegations from Thailand that it has been laying new landmines along their shared border. This denial comes after a landmine explosion injured 3 Thai soldiers, prompting accusations of violating a ceasefire agreement and international law. Iranian President Masoud Pezeshkian heads to Armenia for talks on a US-backed planned corridor linking Azerbaijan with its exclave near the border with Iran. US envoy Tom Barrack on Monday called on Israel to honor commitments under a ceasefire that ended its war with Hezbollah. Myanmar will begin the first phase of its general election on December 28, marking the country's first vote since the 2021 military coup. A New Zealand military court has found a soldier guilty of attempted espionage after he admitted trying to leak information about military bases to a foreign country. Over 40 people are missing after a boat carrying 50 passengers to a popular market in northwest Nigeria's Sokoto state capsized. Search and rescue operations are underway. Air Canada flight attendants remain on strike beyond the Labour Board's deadline to return to work, delaying the airline's efforts to resume operations. An Australian court has fined Qantas $59 million for illegally laying off 1,800 ground staff during the COVID-19 pandemic, ending a 5-year legal battle. 7 people were shot dead by unidentified gunmen at a pool hall in Ecuador's Santo Domingo city. Meanwhile, police are investigating and searching for suspects. Hong Kong prosecutors began closing arguments in Jimmy Lai's trial, stating he's fit to attend hearings after last week's adjournment to equip him with a heart monitor. 2 firefighters have been killed and at least 4 people injured in a fire that broke out on Monday morning at a popular entertainment and shopping district in Japan's Osaka. We are heading for a short break. We'll be back with Express News in just a bit. Stay tuned to DD India.
Can the US launch a bombing campaign against Iran? The Philippines vessel suffered structural damage. The saga of child sexual abuse is the United States China's debt trap strategy. Truth is stranger than fiction. But sometimes hard to uncover. Trust us to tell the truth, unadulterated and pure, of every story that matters to you.
Exactly what to save your.
You read between the lines, cut the clutter, and connect the dots to get you the full picture. Watch Connecting the Dots at these times with me, only on DD India.
Welcome back. You're watching Express News on DD India. I'm Tanvi Taneja. Let's resume. Scorching heat hindered efforts to control 20 major wildfires across Spain, prompting deployment of 500 additional military personnel. Spanish Prime Minister Pedro Sanchez pledged a national pact to tackle the climate emergency during his visit to fire-hit western Spain. Wildfires raged near Dengana in Spain's Asturias region, darkening skies with thick smoke and complicating firefighting. A firefighter died in a truck accident while battling wildfires in Castilla and Leon, Spain, raising the death toll to 4. Portugal mourned its first wildfire death as former Guarda Mayor Carlos de Mosso. Hurricane Erin has re-strengthened into a Category 4 storm after completing an eye wall replacement cycle. Flash floods in northwestern Pakistan have claimed at least 337 lives, with dozens still missing. Multiple flash floods have struck Himachal Pradesh's Mandi district, disrupting traffic along the Mandi-Kulu stretch. Authorities in Himachal Pradesh warn that continued rainfall may worsen conditions and urge travellers to avoid vulnerable stretches. 2 cloudbursts in Kathua district of Jammu and Kashmir have killed 7 people, including 5 children, and caused extensive damage to homes and infrastructure. The Weather Office has forecast light to moderate rain with isolated heavy showers across Jammu division until August 19th. Rescue operations have intensified in Kishtwar's Chishoti village, with White Knight Corps troops continuing relief efforts. Delhi is on high alert as the Yamuna River nears the danger mark following the release of 178,000 cusecs of water from the Hathni Kund barrage. In Mumbai, relentless rain has caused severe waterlogging in low-lying areas, disrupting roads, trains and bus services. A red alert is in place until Tuesday. The India Meteorological Department has issued a red alert for heavy rain across Chhattisgarh, Odisha, Telangana, Andhra Pradesh, Karnataka, Maharashtra and Goa. Thousands of motorcyclists dressed as superheroes, villains and princesses paraded through Buenos Aires. Children at the hospital joyfully welcomed the motorcyclists who handed out candy and toys to celebrate Argentina's Children's Day in August. A 113-year-old church in Sweden's Kiruna will embark on a 2-day relocation starting on Tuesday to a new site to make way for the expansion of the world's biggest underground iron ore mine. Beyblade culture is resurging in Chile with tournaments uniting both new and veteran players. Hanoi streets are adorned with national flags ahead of their 80th August Revolution and National Day festivities. The 4-day World Humanoid Robot Games concluded in Beijing, featuring over 280 teams from 16 countries and the first ever humanoid robot 100 meters sprint. From August 16th to 19th, Hanoi's Hoan Kiem Lake Pedestrian Zone is hosting the Peace Festival with over a dozen free public events, including performances and exhibitions organized. Manamadurai famed clay artisans in Tamil Nadu are preparing brand idols from natural clay for the festival of Ganesh Chaturthi. Vispe Karade has earned his 17th Guinness World Record by performing the Hercules Pillars Hold at the Atari-Vaga border. Karade held 261 kg in each hand for 1 minute and 7 seconds, setting a new global benchmark in strength and endurance. Inner Mongolia hosted Nanam Festival with traditional Mongolian sports. This marks a significant step in preserving and passing down traditional Mongolian sports culture. Hollywood horror film Weapons topped the North America box office for the second day with a collection of $20 million. British actor Terence Stamp, known for iconic characters like Billy Budd and Superman's General Zod, passed away at the age of 87. Russian model Ksenia Alexandrova, who took part in Miss Universe 2017, died on Sunday at the age of 30 in a car accident. Joseph Karoff, the designer of James Bond's 007 logo and several movie posters, passed away on August 17th. He was 103 years old. YG Entertainment founder Yang Hyun-suk confirmed on Sunday that K-pop group Blackpink will release their new album in November this year. British actor Ian McKellen confirmed the return of characters Gandalf and Frodo in The Lord of the Rings: The Hunt for Gollum. South Indian film Talaiva Talaive is set to stream on OTT platform on August 22. Malayalam director Chidambaram announced his next film Balan after his thriller film Manjumel Boys. Makers of Tiger Shroff's Bhagi 4 have unveiled its first song Guzara. The film will hit the theatres next month. On to sports news now. In tennis, defending champion Yannick Sinner will face Carlos Alcaraz in the Cincinnati Open 2025 final. In women's singles, Iga Swiatek reached the final of the Cincinnati Open for the first time in her career with a win over Elena Rybakina. Swiatek will face Jasmine Paolini in the final as she seeks her 11th career WTA 1000 title. Anmol Jain, Saurabh Chaudhary and Aditya Malra combined to open India's medal tally with silver medal at the Asian Shooting Championships in Kazakhstan. India's eastern state Bihar is set to host the 12th edition of the Men's Asia Cup from 29th August to 7th September in Rajgir town. Bangladesh is likely to replace Pakistan in the upcoming Men's Asia Cup hockey tournament if they fail to confirm their participation within the next 2 days. Over 400 athletes will compete at the Khedo India Water Sports Festival to be hosted in the Dal Lake of Jammu and Kashmir from 21st to 23rd of August. India's top archers, including Deepika Kumari, Dheeraj Bommadevara, Jyoti Vennam and Abhishek Verma, will compete in the inaugural Archery Premier League in October. Reigning world champion Neeraj Chopra has confirmed his place in the men's javelin throw event at the Diamond League final in Switzerland. Indian shuttler Devika Sinha claimed her first international challenge title by winning the women's singles event at Malaysia International Challenge. Indian Grandmaster Divya Deshmukh is set to compete in the open section of the FIDE Grand Swiss 2025, scheduled to be held in Uzbekistan from 3rd to 15th of September. India's Priya Yadav, Geeta Yadav, Ritu Yadav clinched bronze medals at the Australian Open and WT President's Cup Oceania Taekwondo Championship. Colombia's Sebastian Munoz triumphed over Spain's John Ram in playoffs to win the LIV Golf Indianapolis event.